Welcome to CoH3 with me, host Flux. And welcome to Tank Edition. We have got loads of tanks. We've gone past the pop cap. We're up at 222. And all thanks to this tank over here. The M31 recovery vehicle. Technically not a tank, but it's got a gun on top of it and it looks like a tank, so it's a tank. So, we've gotten the match. We played as the Americans. And we have used this recovery vehicle on the right here, and we've recovered loads and loads of German tanks, as well as my own tanks. We've got quite a lot of the different types of tanks. There's not all of them, but there's the most of them. So, let's check them out. Over on the left here, we have the Flakpazer Wirbelwind. This is great for taking on medium, light vehicles, infantry, very useful. Keep it away from heavy tanks, medium tanks, because it's going to do a lot of damage to it. But if you want to kill infantry, this is your boy. Right, let's look around it. Next up, we have the Sturmpanzer Brumbar. This thing is very useful taking on enemy infantry. You don't want to be taking on other tanks with this, really. Only in an emergency, because it isn't very good for that. It's best at shooting against like encampments, enemy infantry, MG teams, stuff like that. That's what you want to use this for. But you'll have to aim it well. Like, you want to get it when the infantry's moving towards them. If you can predict where they're going to go, fire the shot there, you'll get a lot more kills than just letting it shoot on its own, because it'll shoot, miss, and they'll keep on walking forward. So, not good for you. So, if you need to, just reverse and aim where they are going. Let's check it out. Now we have the Panzer IV. This is the workhorse of the German army. Their medium tank. We'll be using this for fighting the other tanks of the British, American, Italians, whatever. You'll be fighting those with the medium tank here mostly. Very versatile tank, good against infantry and other enemy tanks. Maybe not the very best Tiger tanks and whatnot, but still a good option when you need a tank. Let's check it out. Now we have the Marder 3 tank destroyer for the Germans. Very useful if you're fighting a lot of tanks on the enemy team, but you do want to keep it facing forwards. So if they're going to be rushing at you or trying to get around the side of you, you want to reverse this tank, because the turret does not rotate on this tank. So reverse it up, make sure you keep the gun pointing at the enemy tank, because you're going to be in a lot of trouble if they flank you. So let's check it out. Now we have the Stug III. This is also a medium tank. It's a medium assault gun. A bit similar to the Marder, in you cannot aim the turret. It won't rotate, so you can aim the turret if you're facing forwards. So whatever position the tank is facing is where it'll shoot. Same again, you want to be reversing this tank so you don't get flanked. You can't shoot at them. So make sure you keep this tank pointing towards the enemy, or you're going to find a lot of trouble. Let's check it out. First up for the American tanks, we have the M4A3E8 Sherman Easy 8. This is another medium tank, but has an improved gun over the normal variant of the Sherman tank just behind it there. Very good for taking on the enemy tanks, heavier ones as well. You're always better off with the American tanks to try and get side or rear shots, or you're going to be missing shots and bouncing off and things like that. So, but this is a good option if you need to take on those heavy tanks of the Germans. So let's check it out. Now we're having a look at the M4A1 Sherman, the standard medium tank Sherman, with the shorter barrel, slightly less penetration, but all in all, good medium tank for taking on the German army. You'll be wanting to use this if you're getting into a lot of tank battles, so let's check it out. Now we have the M31 recovery vehicle, a medium sport vehicle that I've used to get all the German vehicles during this match. Very useful. It's part of the battle groups, and you definitely want to get these if you're going to be fighting and you're using that particular battle group, the armoured one. Very useful indeed. Let's check it out. It can heal tanks, recover tanks, and it can get fuel from tanks that have been destroyed. So let's go in there and have a look. Here we have the M8 Scott, not technically a heavy tank or medium tank, but it is a light tank, but it's good for the artillery. It's got the barrages, very good for taking on the units at range. So let's check it out. We have the M18 Hellcat tank destroyer for the Americans. Very versatile tank for taking on the enemy tanks. It has, just to the left here of this one, it has the ambush ability. Once you've teched it up and got some veterancy, very useful indeed. It'll get ambush as one of the veterancy choices. So if you're going to be fighting a lot of enemy tanks, you want to be using these at a distance. You can't quite take as much damage as a Sherman. So you want to use this behind or for flanking the other tanks. That was a look at all the tanks I was able to get in this match of Company Heroes 3. I recovered them using the vehicle here, the M31 recovery vehicle. Very good. Hope you found this useful, interesting, helpful. And if you liked it, please like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. And we'll catch you in the next one.